Hi, my name is Carlotta Bacon, and my passionate belief is the importance of being able to teach in a multicultural, diverse population, or classroom. I picked this topic because I have seen my school go from almost a single culture to a multicultural, diverse population just over the last few months. I think that understanding the differences of different cultures is very important to be successful in the classroom. Every day, the United States continues to become more and more diverse. In the text Teaching for Student Learning, it says that 33% or 32% of the U.S. population are members of racial or ethnic minority groups. And that number is higher for school-age children. It's about 40%. I think that learning to communicate with different cultures, people of different cultures, um, is essential in the classroom. We communicate different ways. We communicate verbally and both non-verbally. And a lot of times we can lose translation amongst people of the same cultural background. So imagine if someone is new to the country or someone from a different culture, how they may feel or interpret what you are saying. One of the problems when we come across with communicating verbally are the connotations or the implied meanings that we put to words. Something simple as good job can be praised for one child, but for another child, it can be seen as a sign of disappointment. Maybe in their household, good is not good enough, and they were raised that way. Also, being abrupt or to the point is acceptable in some cultures, but in others, it's considered harsh when you speak abrupt to people or abruptly to people. Um, Another aspect is that we communicate non-verbally. We communicate with gestures, facial expressions, and even our posture. And nonverbal communication varies from culture to culture. In the United States, we believe in personal space. When we talk to someone, we like to be 2 to 3 feet away from that person. We're used to having space. But in places like Asia or Africa, they're more confined and more crowded. So to them, personal space isn't important. And the same thing goes for like public displays of affection or physical affection. Especially with our men in the United States, they tend to shun away from physical contact. But if you were to go to Europe or South America, you might see two heterosexual men walking down the street holding hands, and that's just normal for them. And along with that, we may have another thing is eye contact. We're always telling children to look at me when I'm talking to you, but you may be speaking to a child where it is considered disrespectful to look into the eyes of a person in an authoritative figure. And they may have been raised that way, and to them the teacher is a figure of authority, so they're not going to look her in the eyes. And some of our physical gestures, like signs for come here or okay, they can be misconstrued. If we were to point our finger and hold our palms up and tell someone to come here, that could be that sign or that gesture is disrespectful in Asia, as well as the okay symbol. It can be seen as a sign of obscenity. When we raise our hands to say goodbye to someone, our palms up and waving to say bye, in Europe that means stop. So we're trying to tell somebody bye and they're not moving. So we need to be aware of all these differences. I think it'll affect the way we understand and teach our children, and also when we communicate with the parents, we're less likely to offend them because we may be upset because we think a child is doing something that may be considered rude or inconsiderate or disrespectful, but they taught their child that. And so when you approach them telling them that, they can get offended. So with our growing population and change in America, this is a passionate belief for me that we need to become more diverse and more aware of the communication differences amongst different people from different cultures.